device, okay? All right. Hey there, you all. We are back. And we're going to try to start this all over again. We are live now, and hopefully this time everything will be okay and we won't have any interruptions. So come on back into the room. So that just lets me know that whatever God is going to say tonight is going to drop heavy. It's going to really resonate with a lot of you all, and that are dating, that are looking for a spouse. Gentlemen, because ladies, we are not supposed to be looking. So welcome, you guys. Come on in the room. We are talking tonight. Help! I am single, but I want to be married. That's our topic of discussion tonight on the marriage factor. I am Talein Harris, and I am here with my husband, Jonathan Harris. He's going to be joining me here in just a momentarily. But you guys come on back in the room.
All right.
Share again.
There we go.
Share again. There he is. I think this time we won't have any problems in interrupting.
Oh, yeah, we're good
with the broadcast tonight.
We are good. So where were we?
So I really kind of want to start over because we need to be at the beginning so that this can be a clear, clean broadcast. You guys, we shouldn't have any problems. Look, we're talking about help. I'm single and I want to be married. And the purpose of this tonight and the objective of tonight is our discussion is to provide an atmosphere that's relaxed. We want to be relaxed, we want to be chill, but we also want you to please be respectful. Please be respectful of other people's feelings and thoughts, and that this is a Christian broadcast, so that we are not going to say anything that is not godly. All right, we're going to keep it godly tonight, but we're going to empower and inform you of the purpose of addressing matters pertaining to single life, relationships, dating, and marriage. And so that is our purpose and our objective this evening. My husband's going to share with you the first thing that we're going to talk about, which is the frustrations, because there's so many frustrations, and we were talking about before we got interrupted about the dating scene. So
yes indeed. Welcome back, everyone. It's good to be back. I think we're going to be crystal clear and smooth sailing tonight, and thank you for sharing. Go ahead and click that share button a couple of times. We appreciate you. So we're starting over because, as she said, we wanted to be crisp and clean from the beginning to end. The dynamics of the singles world today. The dynamics of being single, rather, in today's world. So we talk about the frustrations of modern day dating and a laundry list of grievances that people have, and technology that was supposed to make the process simple, easier, faster, quicker, more convenient, actually ends up being the leading culprit for misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and unwarranted expectations. How is it possible? How can you get an unwarranted expectation in today's single world when you just simply trying to find your soulmate, your husband, your Boaz, your queen, your Esther, and now you have expectations that's unwarranted? That's a very interesting point that we're going to dive into tonight as well. So we said psychologists say that while lots of choices can help you choose someone who fits your wants and your needs, it can also have the opposite effect, in that eventually it creates a hostile environment or mindset that prevents you from being able to settle into a relationship because you had so many choices and because you had so many options. I notice when I go to a buffet, which I don't like going to. If you're from Louisiana, I heard y'all say the buffet.
The buffet.
I don't like going to the buffet anymore. Very seldom I go to a buffet because it's just so much laid out that you like, and you end up putting so much on your plate.
More than what you need.
More than what you can actually use or even digest. And you end up having some stomach aches because you ate so much, because after all, you see this and it looks good. You see this option and it looks good.
Right.
You see that option and it looks good. Oh, this chicken looks good. This fish looks good. This steaks looks good. This over here looks good. There's so many choices and options that you really sometimes have a hard time enjoying or actually being able to be properly nourished by that particular place. It's similar in the dating world now. I have all these options and now I'm struggling to be able to settle into a wholesome relationship because of all of the choices. So psychologists have also said that the opposite effect occurs as a result of choices, so many choices, in not being able to settle into a relationship. So we said the concept of having some common courtesy is often lost. Many people don't have the civility to end things correctly. So we want to actually to minister and pray with people that have suffered in this particular area.
Yes.
Because we're in a era now that we as a church, as believers, we got to address things that we didn't have to address 10 years ago. You got hurt from a dating app.
I mean to laugh. It just sounds weird.
But it's reality.
To me.
You got hurt from a dating website. So it actually developed a soul tie. People develop soul ties with people that's not even real, with an image or an unwarranted expectation. We might as well deal with that tonight. An unwarranted expectation. I had an expectation that this person was someone that they actually were not.
Yeah. And you know, as I was saying before we were interrupted earlier about catfishing and the whole catfish thing, for those of you that don't know what that is for a person that will set up a social media profile and pretend to be something that they are not or someone that they are not, in order to try to win your trust, to enter into this relationship with you that is not even real.
Wow.
And so if you've ever watched the show Catfish, what they do is find out who that catfisher is, and they actually take the person to them and prove to them that this person is not who they say they are. The same thing has happened. Celebrities' accounts have been duped, and they'll interact with these people, and the people will actually think that they're interacting with these celebrities, and these celebrities want them, but they're really being catfished.
Wow.
There's somebody else that's posing as them and interacting with them that's really not them. And so in this day and time, I was saying, honey, what happened to the good old fashioned, I just met him at the grocery store, you know, and for those folks that club, and you know, that's what it is. We are doing so many things online that we have carried that over into a thing that should be so much more personal and intimate, because it's hard to get, I mean, you can get to kind of know somebody, but you don't really know if that person is real. But if you're in their presence and you see them and you're spending time with them and you're going out and you're going out on dates and not having dates on the phone, dates via the social media and things like that, because we have those apps that will allow you to FaceTime, that would allow you to IM video chat and things of that nature. It really takes away the personality of just being able to just reach out and touch the person and talk to them. What do you think, honey?
I think you're absolutely correct. And as she was sharing that, one of the things that I want to get into tonight is the rules of engagement for kingdom courting or kingdom dating, because that's something that's needed, that I teach often, that I've learned from hard knocks and experience. There are rules of engagement. And one of the things that, as I share with you, maybe it was in the first segment before we got interrupted, but as I share with you, my first marriage was 18 years. After 18 years of marriage, I was divorced for about 10 years. And then my wife and I actually have been remarried. I've been married going on 5 years again. So I'm looking at, what is that? 23 years of marriage altogether. So you kind of learn a lot. And then also an accumulation of years in being single. I had to quickly learn, because I shared this several times in the past. Do you know the first time I dated in my entire life as a grown man was when I was 38 years old?
I know, bless your heart.
I was 38 years old the first time I dated as a grown man.
I can imagine that.
As a grown man. So being thrown into a world where you have never dated before, and now your first time dating is when you're 38 years old, I did everything in the book wrong. Everything you can think of, I did wrong. And I listen to people that are so adamant in how they're going about things. And sometimes when a person is so adamant and they're so hardened in what they believe, even though what they believe is wrong, all you can do is just kind of take your hands back and say, you know what, I just got to let you, hey, you believe this is what God said? Who am I to dispute that? But from my experience and from the word and from what I understand, you're going about it oftentimes wrong. So when we run into brick walls, we run into opposition, we run into hurt feelings, we run into unwarranted expectations about how this is going to be, how this person is going to treat me. It's unwarranted. The expectations are unwarranted. You don't have a reason to expect any more from them right now than you have to be in a place you allow them to show you who they are. Right. And oftentimes we don't give people the opportunity, the time, show me who you are, because now we're wide open too soon, too quickly in our feelings, our emotions, and we're wide open to something that's not even real. It's a representation that they've sent, and it's not even them. Right. They've sent their representative to portray an image that's not even who they actually are. And those are the dangers of where we are today, and even as believers have fallen into the trap of compromise. That's the next thing I want to talk about, compromise, all right? So the dangers of assuming that quantity of dates with different people equates to quality of living. Can I say that again?
Oh, yes.
There are dangers in assuming that quantity of dates with different people equates to quality of living. May I suggest to you, may I submit to you tonight that lifestyle or that mindset can actually be very detrimental to your ability in finding longevity in a wholesome relationship with the person that God wants you to spend your life with. Because you're spreading yourself so much. And even if you're not, well, you may say, well, I'm not having sex with them. Okay, but you're spreading yourself so much. How do I know? Because I was guilty. I was guilty. And it wasn't that I was a player. It was that I was looking to feel that place of pain that I was experiencing, that place of hurt, that place of brokenness, that place of feeling alone, that place of isolation after you've gone through your whole life of 20 years knowing one thing, and then it stops and it's over, and then you find yourself trying to quickly get this hurt, get this void filled, or some wholeness there. You can only find that from the Most High God and Him only. Him only. Alone. So the compromise is in the danger of assuming that the quantity of dates with different people is going to equate to quality of living. So people that spread themselves through the quantity of dates are oftentimes incapable of being able to receive, value, or even recognize the quality of someone or the value that they can bring to their life. Because they spreaded themselves to sin. And you're wowing a lot over here, so I'm going to let you dive in.
No, I mean, it's so true. And we compromise in a lot of different areas. You know, sometimes you compromise because you feel like, okay, you know, I have been separated, or in my last situation, and there's a relationship, it's been 2 or 3 years and I haven't gone out on a date. Okay, so let me just start dating a bunch of people so I can play catch up because I think I'm okay now. And the possibility, that's compromising. Why do that? You know, go out and be intentional about your dating. Don't just date just to be saying that you did it. Or some people date in a situation where they're just trying to have a different person to try to make a whole person. So you like this guy because he's funny and he makes you laugh. You like this other guy because he loves to take you out to nice restaurants and fine dining and
or lady.
Right? And you just you know that when you guys get together, he's gonna treat you like a king, or she's gonna treat you like a queen. I mean, he's gonna treat you like a queen and she's gonna treat you like a king. So you find these people and you try to put them all together. This one will pay your bills, and this one will this one will take you shopping and buy you nice clothes, and because they like clothes a lot and they like nice shoes, and so they want to make sure you decked out and looking good when you go out with them. That is insanity, you all. Trying to piece together a person to make one person and get all of what it is that you're looking for is never going to work.
Never.
You have to find that which you need in one person. Will you find absolutely everything that you love about a person in that one? No. So you are going to have to be able to say, okay, you may not have 8 out of the, or you may have only 8 out of the 10. I can deal with the other 2. They're not deal breakers, because we have deal breakers that we say, okay, no, I can't be in a relationship with that person because they're a smoker. I can't do smokers because I don't smoke. So there are some deal breakers. You might really like the person. They might be really great, but that's a deal breaker for me. So compromise. Don't compromise where you shouldn't.
Right. You know what, you all of this is powerful. This is absolutely powerful, and that's why we wanted to have these discussions tonight. Help! I'm single, but I want to be married. And I want to talk to the married people as well, or those that are separated also, and just encourage you as well. This broadcast, if we had time to really get in everything, our hour is almost up. Is going to encompass whether you're married, single, divorced, or separated. There's inspiration and there is a word for everyone this evening. So I want to talk about now about the spirit of rejection, because again, I'll share with you, you don't have to be perfect for everybody. You only have to be perfect for the one body. And many times when you think that if I just have a lot of quantity, or if I go out on a lot of different dates and meet a lot of different people, I'm not saying there's something wrong with that if you got it like that, and some people may have it that way, that you just have a date lined up every night of the week. And I've actually talked to, this is a shame. Can I share this with baby?
What you gonna share?
All right. I didn't. So we're live, so I didn't like filter it first. So maybe
that's all right. Go ahead and share.
Let me see if I can share. Okay. All right. So I went out with this one lady one time, long time ago. Long time.
Make that clear.
Long time ago, went out with this one lady that actually point blank told me. Now she was pretty, nice looking, attractive woman. But she has some major issues and some major insecurities, and she absolutely, unequivocally, undeniably was not someone that I want to marry. I don't care how pretty she was and how well put together she was and how much money she said that she made. She actually point blank had the unmitigated gall to tell me that she, if she wanted to, would have a date every night of the week, because if she didn't feel like cooking, she would make sure that she had a date so that some man would pay for her dinner that night. And I'm like, are you?
What I mean?
Thank you. You actually said that. You actually have become so desensitized to the value of relationships that you would actually say something like that out of your mouth. That is ridiculous. So again, I'll share with you, the spirit of rejection will have you believing that you have to be perfect for everybody, when you don't have to be perfect for everybody. Father will make you perfect for the one person that he has for you. So when you're preparing for marriage, it's imperative to understand that rejection oftentimes is God's protection. When you're rejected by the multitudes, it means that God is preparing you for the one that you're supposed to be with. Don't worry about that. And you have to come to the place where you're okay. I'm not in a posture of believing that I have to be perfect for all. If you're a woman, All of these guys, that's the misguided concept that we have in today's world. Like, I gotta have his attention, Sam's attention, Ralph's attention, John's attention, James's attention. I have to have Ricky's attention. I need Samuel's. All these people, you don't need all that. So what happens is it begins to allure you into a misguided belief system, like that lady that I went out with, which I physically was attracted to what she had on the shelf, but within the content, I was completely repulsed and was ready to leave her presence as soon as possible. I possibly could have been a Boaz, but because she had that mindset, I was ready to leave as fast as possible. So again, the spirit of compromise is the anxiety that will have you in a place of panicking, thinking that you're running out of time, so you just got to settle for anybody. You do not.
Do not.
Thank you. Say it again.
You do not.
You don't have to settle. You are precious.
Yes.
And matter of fact, may I share with you what causes your stock to increase, if I will? And I know some of you may say, well, you ain't got to know scripture references yet. You religious folks, God bless y'all tonight. I'm talking all up in the word. What makes your stock increase is when you recognize that I'm accepted in the beloved. And what makes your stock increase is when you become chaste before the Most High God. What makes your stock increase as a person, if you're a woman, that will be sought after, or if you're a man, where you go and pursue who God called you to pursue.
Yes.
What makes your stock increase is when you become solid in Him and you become whole in Him. So what does that do? It will cause you to love yourself.
Yes.
See, the reason why I was looking for all of those different options and items. See, I'm not talking about someone to condemn. I'm actually telling them my story from my past. The reason why I was looking for all of those options and all of those dates, plural, at the time I was hurting, simply was because I was not whole. I needed to be healed.
Yes.
And I was looking for validation in quantity. I was looking for acceptance by quantity.
Yes.
Because even though I'm trying not to preach, I'm not going
Let's talk. Let's just talk.
even though I knew a particular person was not my wife, I knew a particular person was not one that I was supposed to marry, there was something inside of me that still said, I still want them to like me. I still want them to acknowledge me. I still want them to accept me. I still want them to say that I'm a wonderful person. Even though I know deep down inside that this was not my wife. Was that crazy?
Yeah, and I think we as women do that too. I think it's just people in general. We want to be accepted. We want to be loved. We want people to endear us. We want people to lift us up and encourage us and make us feel good about ourselves. But the truth of the matter is, it really has to start from within.
Yes.
It really has to start from within. You have to have self-love and self-confidence, not cockiness and arrogance,
right,
or conceit, but self-love and self-confidence, because when you do, those are the types of things that you hopefully will attract. And
yes.
when I think about my previous relationships, and I think about where I am now with my husband, and I say, I always feel like he is like the male version of me. He has the self-confidence. He has the love of God in his heart like I do. He loves people like I do. He loves music like I do. I mean, like, we have a lot of things in common. And I think sometimes we get involved with people that don't compliment us.
Right.
We get involved with people that aren't good for us. We get involved with people because we haven't cleansed out what's inside of us and learned to love ourselves, so that when someone comes along that isn't good for you, you can recognize it, and then you can begin to say, you know what? I know I'm getting ahead of myself with some of my points, but that's okay because the Lord is flowing. When you get to that place where you say, you know what? I know who I am, and I know whose I am, and I know what I'm not going to accept. And I'm not going to accept you talking to me crazy. I'm not going to accept you calling me out of my name. I'm not going to accept you being disrespectful towards me. I'm not going to accept those things. And only because I know who I am, and I'm confident in who I am, and I knows who I belong, who I belong to, which is the Lord. I don't have to accept that foolishness and that mess. That's foolishness. And then you find yourself in a bad relationship or marriage or situation that you then got to try to get yourself out of. Now you got a soul tie, and you're all tangled up and tied up with this person that isn't good for you. The relationship is toxic. They're toxic to everything that is around you, and yet and still you're making excuses for it. Like it's but this about them, and but that. Stop making excuses for people that are toxic and should not be in your life. That is the time to say, you know what? I have to cut this situation off, and I have to do what is best for me. It's called self-preservation, and it's a good thing.
Yeah. You gotta see, and this is what she was sharing, what my wife was sharing, and I pray that you all are really being impacted by this lesson. This discussion tonight is very imperative. So you have to get to a place where you really can learn to love yourself. Because as I was sharing earlier, the reason why I was doing those things that I was doing is because I was actually hemorrhaging inside, and I was looking for something to be a Band-Aid, or in this case, someone to be a Band-Aid. Cover this up. Stop this bleeding.
Yes.
Why? Why are you looking outside of God for that? It's because you want something quick oftentimes. I want a quick fix. And I want to share this as well, and my wife has some points, and then we want to move on. I want to share this as well. People of God, sometimes people believe that the cure for my life, the cure for the way I feel, the cure for my feeling lonely, the cure for me being lonely is if I can just get married. May I humbly, once again, as I shared this about a year and 3 months ago, I will humbly once again submit this to single people, that the only thing worse, let me take my time and say this, the only thing worse than being single and lonely is being married and lonely.
Yes, sir.
Is there such a thing? Absolutely. The only thing worse than being single and lonely is being married and lonely. Because some people have the misguided conception and mental belief system that if I can just get married, it's going to make all of my lonely issues go away. May I submit to you very humbly this evening that if you don't allow God to connect you with the right person, that the only thing that you're going to do is compound your problem, because if you connect with someone else that's not whole, then it's going to compound what you think you already have to deal with, and now you connect with another fragmented person, and now you have a fragmented situation. So not only do you have to deal with your own deficits and hurts and issues and insecurities, now you have to try to carry someone else's deficits, hurts, insecurities, and things that have happened in their lives. The only thing worse than being single and lonely,
married and lonely,
is when you're married and I'm still lonely. Matter of fact, it's even worse than before. So I want to submit to you tonight that God has somebody for you. And it may not be a lot of bodies, but there's somebody that's perfect for you and that you're perfect for. So my wife, before I go on any further, is going to get into the key points.
The key points. I like that, honey. I like that.
Yes, indeed.
Well, listen, I'm going to put on my life coach hat. Some of you may or may not know I am a certified life coach. And I think it's always important to do this thing first that I'm going to share with you all this evening, and that is evaluating. I got a little bit ahead of myself as I was sharing just a moment ago. That is to evaluate past relationships. Evaluate what happened in the relationship, where things went awry. What part did you play in that? Because oftentimes we want to easily talk about what somebody else has done to us and get in a place of being the victim and being in the victim mode. Now, I'm not giving them a pass. I'm not saying that they may not have done those things wrong to you, because I'm sure that they did. But what I am saying is that we have to be real with ourselves and actually say, okay, you know what? What part did I play in? Why?
Right.
Was there a reason why he stayed out all night long? And now I'm in a position where, as Apostle, as my husband is saying, hey, I'm married and I'm lonely.
Yeah.
He's not even here. Why is he not here? Am I playing a part in that, or is that something that's in him that he's not been healed from, or he hasn't been delivered? Maybe he has a lust spirit, maybe he has so forth. I mean, there's many things that it could
Right.
be the issue. But the fact of the matter is, you've got to evaluate. You've got to do what I call an introspective check. You got to check what's going on, what's happening with you first. Looking at the person in the mirror and saying, do I like what I see? What is it that I could do differently? I need to make some adjustments and changes in my life, because I don't want to go through this anymore.
Right.
I'm not trying to be like the little mouse on the wheel and just going around and around and around and around in circles and dealing with the same thing over and over and over again. You do the same thing, you get the same results. Okay, so that's the first thing. You need to evaluate your past relationships and evaluate yourself and your part that you played in that.
Yeah.
And then the other part is, how are you representing yourself? How are you presenting yourself? So you say, I'm single and I'm going out somewhere. I'm just going out to a restaurant with my girlfriends and we're about to hang out. How am I dressed? Because how I'm dressed is definitely going to get the attention of a man. And what type of attention am I looking for? So how am I presenting myself? Am I wearing, clothes that are very revealing? Clothes that would make a person just look at what's going on with the outside of me and not interested at all to know what's going on in here? Are they even concerned about my heart? Are they concerned about my intelligence or my life and where I'm going, where God is leading me? What type of representation are you presenting?
Can I share something
Yes,
as a man?
please
I want to
do.
share something from a male's perspective to the women, and I hope that you all can receive this, the love that we're sharing it from. As my wife was sharing, how are you presenting yourself? What is your presentation of yourself? And in the day's sensual society, racy world that we're living in, anything goes, free spirit, let it all hang out. In the day's society that we're living in, I just want to share with you from a male's perspective, ladies. Now, I'm not legalistic. I don't believe that you just have to look like you're wearing your kitchen tablecloth every time you go out to dinner, and you're looking just ridiculous, going to the opposite extreme. But please understand this, that if you set out with a motivation that you want to expose so much of yourself to gain a man's attention, you will capture a man's attention. You absolutely will get some, hey, shawty, hey, girl, you looking good. You're going to get all of that. But if that's something that you're wanting, then it goes back to the point that my wife was sharing. We got to do some introspecting as to, why do I want this? Second thing you must understand is that you will get those types of that type of attention, or attention from gentlemen that are looking at the flesh that you have exposed. But please understand that if you capture a man by your flesh, then what's going to take place and transpire is you're going to stimulate lust in him. So now, even if you get into a relationship with him because you captured him by your flesh, what happened is you were part of the culprit in releasing a spirit of lust in his flesh. So now the lust of the flesh will never be satisfied. Please hear my heart in this. If that's how you capture someone, then what's going to happen is, because now it's opened up a spirit of lust, he's going to continue to be pursuing with an insatiable appetite of somebody else that will gratify his lust. Because now the enemy is going to make sure that if he gets into something that actually is godly, which is marriage, he's not going to be able to tame the spirit that's been unleashed in him. Now it's going to be prowling for something else that's stimulating or going to feed that desire in him, which is lustful. So now you thought you were catching and actually drawing the attention of a man by exposing so much of yourself, when actually it has a very derogatory, negative, and unhealthy outcome if you don't understand that the real type of man that you want to attract, leave something to the imagination.
It is.
Leave something to the imagination. If he wants to pursue you, now let me share this also with you from a male's perspective. We're talking straight tonight, okay? I'm an apostle. I'm a pastor, preached for a long, long time, over 3 decades. We're going to put all that to the side right now. Let's talk straight talk, okay? Let's talk real talk. If I see a woman like that, I may recognize that, wow, she's fine. Man, she's built. Woo, she put together. Brick house. Man, I'm 10. But you know what the last thing I've been thinking about? That's a good woman. That's my wife. I'm going to take her home and let her introduce her to my family. Woo, that's someone I can see myself building a future with. Absolutely, positively not. That will be the last thing that will be on his mind. Is that what you want to be? That's just a rhetorical question. Is that what you want to be? Because you will capture the attention. You will capture attention. You will. I'm sharing from a male's perspective as my wife finishes. So I hope you receive this in love. You will capture attention. Now I'm not saying that you just become a Puritan and just don't fix yourself up at all. You don't adorn yourself. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying leave something to the imagination, because the type of man that you want to attract is going to be the type of man that's going to look at you and say, oh, you are a classy woman. At the same time, you're attractive. Something is left to the imagination. I'm not undressing you with my eyes. Or I don't even have to undress you because she done did it.
Because you done showed everything.
You've done it already. You done came to Wendy's undressed. I don't want that. I may look at that, but I don't want that.
Right.
In terms of relationship. Because I recognize if you do this out on the streets, then I won't be able to trust you. All right, I'm sorry. So
no, you're fine.
I interrupted the key points.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. And the good thing that I love about the marriage factor and my husband and I actually having the opportunity to talk and to share is that you're getting both perspectives. And I think that's really important, especially for women, because oftentimes you can't get a true male perspective. Because if you're talking to men and they're interested in you, they're not going to tell you the truth always. And so it's good to have someone that can tell you in love, from a biblical perspective, from a man's perspective. This is what we're really looking for, ladies. We're not really looking for this. And I'm going to tell you something. If a man really cares about you and he really loves you, he's not going to want all that displayed to everybody. He wants to keep that for himself during his time with his intimacy with his wife. He doesn't want every man looking at his wife like that. And so you gotta be, if you want to be wife material, then you need to practice now. Practice makes permanent. So if you dress classy and elegant and stylish and you are a lady of a standard about yourself, that is what you want to be, so that you can attract that what you want. You don't want some man that's just going to look at you like a sex object.
Yes.
And then you get upset because he doesn't want to marry you, but that's the presentation that you presented to him. He's not going to want
to marry you.
Oh, well, right. But that's what I'm saying. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to get in a relationship with him and we hanging and whatever and blah, blah, blah. We doing this and it's not leading to a relationship that's going to lead to marriage. It's a relationship that's stuck in that wheel that I talked about, of a place that you don't even want to be in, or that you continue to find yourself in, because we have a tendency to keep making the same mistakes. So let's not do that. Let's learn from our mistakes and let's move forward, okay? And listen to some of these points, especially the ones that are coming from my husband, ladies, to you, because it is so important. It's invaluable information. Okay, so my last point is, what are your expectations of marriage? Because everybody has different expectations, and if you don't discuss those things ahead of time, or you discuss those things too soon, you just met somebody, and already you talking about, oh, you're going to be my husband. The Lord told me you're going to be my man. Oh, the Lord told me you're that. Please stop. Can I just say it again? Please don't do that. You will run a good man, you will run him away.
Or a good woman, man. If you
or a good
also.
woman. Yeah, because I've had that done to me before. Oh, the Lord told me you was my wife. No, he didn't tell you that, sweetie, because it's not validated in my heart at all. God didn't speak that to me.
Or if you do wholeheartedly believe that God said that, you may be sincere. Now, may I submit this to you all? Sometimes we sincerely wrong. But you may be sincere, and you sincerely, wholeheartedly believe that Father said that this is my husband. Again, I'll share with you, sometimes you may be sincerely wrong, but you were sincere. But it's imperative not to present that to that person and allow Father to speak that to that person. And that it be confirmation between the two of you, because that could cause some issues, especially even if it is something that God said. He may not be saying that to the other person right now. And if he didn't say that to the other person right now, and you've gone off ahead of God, now you've created a dynamic to where now he has to receive something from you that's weighty, not in the glory, but now it's pressure on him instead of it being confirmation from God. So it's pressure on him now to have to look at you in a certain way.
Yeah.
If I'm not in agreement with that right now, I hope y'all hear me tonight. I have to look at you a certain way. I have to now deal with you a certain way because you came with me or to me with this type of information that's now weight on my spirit, not glory weight either. It's just heavy weight on my spirit. So instead of me being able to be relaxed in a friendship, getting to know you, now I'm carrying weight every time I'm around you, because now if I'm a good person, I'm a good man, or if it's a woman, a good woman, I'm now considerate of, I don't want to lead you on. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I don't want you to have the wrong impression. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to be responsible for your feelings. I don't want to be responsible for you having a spirit of rejection because I don't see the same thing. And it may not be never, it may just be not right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So these are some things, some mistakes that I see believers make because we're so eager sometimes to be married. So we say things. I'm not saying that God didn't say it. He just may not be telling you to say it to the person.
And then you might not be hearing the voice of God if I'm not in agreement at some point in time. I mean, I just really feel like you have to cautiously and gingerly walk through the relationship. You can kind of know and feel and sense when is the right time to release certain information. It's certainly not on the first date. Even if the Lord may have shown you, okay, this person is going to be your husband. Like, I kind of knew early on in my relationship with my husband that I was supposed to be with him. I did know that, but I didn't verbalize that. I didn't say, oh, yeah, I'm going to be your wife. Don't you know? Did the Lord tell you I was going to be your wife? You know, and he may have had similar situations, but it was the right appointed time for us to talk about marriage and to talk about being together. And there was a mutual thing happening where he knew that I really was into him and I was really getting to know him. Why are you even looking at me like that? he knew that. Yeah, of course you did.
Okay,
yes, you did. You know you did. I mean, he knew that I had feelings and an affinity for him. We talked about those things. We discussed it. We even discussed, okay, are we going to be exclusive or not? Because I'm not one of those types of people that like to just jump around dating a whole bunch of different folks, okay? That's not me. Everybody's different. So if I'm spending time with you and I'm really getting an opportunity to know you and you know me, I can tell right away if we're going to be okay, if we're going to fit, if there's a match there. Yeah. And so you gotta let things happen organically. Don't force them. That was one of the things that I absolutely loved about and I don't know about you, honey, but I absolutely loved about our getting to know each other and our relationship.
That was our favorite word. It was organic.
It was organic. It's so I'm telling you guys, it was so organic in the beginning. It wasn't forced. Yeah. It wasn't contrived. I wasn't trying to be somebody that I wasn't. He wasn't trying to be somebody that he wasn't. We knew who each other were, and it was genuine. And that's what you want. You want genuine and sincerity. You don't want somebody that's trying to put the mask on because I'm trying to get married real quick, and so I got to put this mask on. I need to be everything that you say. No, you need to be who you are, and if who you are lines up with who they need, hello somebody, then okay, you got a match. You have a situation where you all can work together and you can build something together, and you can begin to, begin to pour into each other. That's what marriage is about. It's not about you just getting all that you need from that person and you don't do your part. You have to pour into them also. So it's a reciprocal. Come on, y'all, say it with me.
Reciprocity,
right? A reciprocal blessing that should be taking place between you and your spouse. It's not, oh, okay, well, now that I'm married, he just gonna take care of me, and I'm not gonna have to do anything but just dress up and look pretty and just hang on his arm and just, yeah, okay, honey, take me everywhere you go and just take care of me, and I'm just gonna look pretty. It's more to that. You are supposed to be building something of substance, and it takes two of you to do that.
Sure does.
Right?
Sure does.
Yes.
It takes two that learn how to become one, and that's going to be that probably is a different session. So I hope you guys are enjoying this tonight, because we are almost out of time. Actually, we are out of time, but I want to get to the questions this evening that some of you had. And I may not get to all of them, but we will come back. If y'all want us to do this weekly, on Monday evenings, just type of amen, so we'll know. If you want us to do this weekly on Monday evenings, if you desire for us to do this weekly on Monday evenings. All right, question number one that someone presented. It's a very good one. Question number one: are soul ties biblical? Are soul ties biblical? Some people question if the Bible actually speaks of them specifically. Are soul ties biblical? Some people question. I got some amens.
Yeah, I think
all right, yes, yeah. Are soul ties biblical? Some people question if the Bible actually speaks of them specifically. That is a very, very good question. And the answer to that question is absolutely, unequivocally, indisputably, yes, they are biblical. The Bible, now let's use a wholesome soul tie for example. A wholesome soul tie was not a sexual soul tie, but the Bible speaks of two individuals, actually two men, and we're not coming from the perverted standpoint here, okay? It speaks of two men, one being named David, one being Jonathan. The Bible says that their two souls were knitted together. Their two souls were knitted together. Okay, so that's an example of you being able to have a soul tie that's healthy. That does not necessarily have to be with the opposite sex.
Right.
I've spent enough time getting to know someone. I spent enough time around someone. I spent enough time emoting. That's actually a word. I'm not making up a preacher word. I spent enough time emoting with someone that we've exchanged emotions. We've exchanged feelings. We've had an exchange, sharing together of our experiences to the point that we've shared emotions, and our emotions, our souls have knitted together. Yes, soul ties are specific or mentioned in the Bible. Now let's talk about from the standpoint of relationships. From the standpoint of relationships, opposite sex relationships, can you spread your soul around with other people? The answer to that is absolutely yes. And if I had time, I would read scripture references, but I don't have time, so I'm going to share with you. In the book of Genesis, the Bible says that God breathed into the man that he created. He breathed up his nostrils, and man became a living soul. Then Father speaks, I believe it's in Genesis chapter number 2, around 18 through 24, in that vicinity. He speaks and says things like, for this cause a man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they two shall become one flesh. So man became a living soul, And God, when God breathed up his nostrils, he said, man should cleave unto his wife, and the two should become one. So the connotation of cleaving is when there is emotional connections that come from sexual intimacy. But we also have established that you can have a soul tie with someone without even having sex with them. That's why if I have time to get to the rules of engagement as it pertains to dating, some of y'all that got some soul ties on the first date, and you messed up. You messed up. I want to teach it, and I want to talk about it tonight. So yes, so when you open yourself up to people, when you open your emotions up to people, even if you don't have sexual intimacy. Now, if you have sexual connections with them, then you have just become one with a person that you didn't even marry. So you become one in soul every time you have sexual relationships with somebody. You have connected your soul with someone, and you may know this is a horrible person. You know this person is no good. But why do you keep going back to the same person over and over and over and over and over again? Once you establish a soul tie, now you need God to help you break and deliver you of that tie so that you can be free to marry or to be with the person that God wants you to be with. So when God made man, he breathed into man's nostrils and man became a living soul. He tells man to leave father and mother. Why? Because before you cleave to your wife, you got a soul tie with your father, your mama, and your daddy. And Father says, son, if you don't have a soul tie with your wife, then what's going to be the dominating influence in your home is mommy and daddy.
My God. Woo.
I got to leave that alone too.
Oh, yeah, because that's a whole nother topic.
Ah, leave it alone.
Leave it alone, Harris.
Leave it alone, Harris. Okay. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So some people have not, some people haven't brought, I'm not saying that you don't love, we talked about this in minister's class yesterday. You love, honor your mother, honor your father. And if I had time to teach on what honor that means, I honor my mother. I try to honor her at least once a month. And it's more than just saying I love you. Honor your mother. Honor your father. But when it comes to your spouse, you leave your soul, you leave father and you leave mother so that you can cleave to your wife. And the two shall become one. Well, what happens if you've connected with Jim and you connected with Ralph? I'm not condemning nobody. Okay, don't get me wrong. Listen, hear me out first. I've connected with Samuel. I've connected with James. I've connected with Ricky. I've connected with Raquisha. I've connected with all these different folks.
Oh my God, nothing crazy.
Come on now. I've connected with all these different folks, and now it's you're finding it difficult to connect with the right person.
Right.
Why? Because, as my wife mentioned earlier,
they're scattered everywhere.
Now my soul is scattered. Oh God. Watch this. So you actually find yourself trying to find one person that's just like all 12 of them, all 14 of them, because your soul is connected all over the place. So you know what happens? It's not going to happen until God delivers that. Okay, so I spend a lot of time on that. That you want?
It was needed because so many of us, if you have not just saved yourself for marriage and you have had other partners prior to your spouse, you if you haven't dealt with those situations and there are pieces of you still left with those people that you were with, then that could be an issue in your marriage.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you repent. You ask God to forgive you for having pieces of yourself everywhere, and ask Him to make you whole again, so that when God puts the right person in your life, you'll be a whole, complete person.
Absolutely.
That's what they deserve, and so do you, because when you have wholeness, that helps your marriage relationship. Yeah. It's not good when you're in pieces and you're scattered all over the place.
Amen.
So, yeah.
Hope that helped a lot. That's a whole section by itself. That's just skimming the surface. And I'm not sure if my friend, I've known her for 10 years, Prophetess Christine Bell. I gave her a plug right here. She has an apostolic anointing for this particular area at Breaking Soul Ties. I'm not sure if she's watching, or if she will watch, but I probably will invite her on at some point to be a part of this particular marriage factor discussion. Second question. Are there really soulmates? Wow. Are there really soulmates? If so, how do we discern if one is ours? Man,
That's
Lord
a
have
good
mercy.
one.
Are there really soulmates? If so, how do we discern if one is ours? This is probably the last question I get to tonight. This is a good one. Are there really soulmates? And if so, how can we discern which one is ours? Let me start off with a little information about the demographics of the entire world. Okay, the demographics of the whole world, of the consensus, of the talented world, is 7 billion people on the planet. 7 billion people on the planet. So in some mindsets, some people have the mindset of, out of all 7 billion people on the planet,
this is one soul, maybe. Yeah.
Then this one person is just for me. One person is my soul mate. Out of all 7 billion people on the planet, only one person. I want to submit to you tonight that is that's going to the extreme of the topic of having a soulmate. No, in that instance, that is unrealistic and can actually set yourself up for frustration and disappointment, anxiety, unnecessary duress on your emotions. And here's a proper understanding of soulmate. Here's a proper understanding of soulmate. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, obtaineth favor from the Lord. A man shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one. Now, here's something that is reality. I wholeheartedly believe that I have met some ladies in my life that I believe that God was speaking to me about me being in a marital relationship with them. I believe that He was speaking that, and I made some efforts in pursuing that. They weren't on the same page for whatever the reasons were at the particular time. They didn't experience or weren't receiving the same thing for whatever the reasons were at the particular time. It just wasn't happening. So in that case, I often say this, if the Most High Elohim, God don't make you choose His Son in salvation, and He said, I give you a choice, He ain't gonna make nobody choose you to be their wife or their husband. It's just not happening. They have a choice also, okay? So with that being said, there's 7 billion people. There's 7 billion people on the face of the earth. So if a person does not agree or does not want to receive you, shake the dust off of your feet. You don't have to cast any disparaging statements against them. Just keep it moving. Right. Keep moving and say, Father, thank you for the person that you have ordained to be in my life. Because when you connect with a person that God blesses, God anoints that, then that has become your soul mate. Right. So you can take the pressure off 7 billion folks. I got to find the one. The one.
Yes.
No, so I'm sharing this, and I hope this makes sense, and I hope I'm coming across not where I'm being sarcastic. It's not coming across good, because I'm not trying to be sarcastic.
It's true. You have all these people in the world, and so it's very interesting. You know, Prophet Danielle said, you know, God can present a few people to you until you come into the agreement with one. You know, and that's essentially the same thing that my husband is saying. You know, it's important that you don't put that type of pressure on yourself.
Yes.
As I said, if you have the list, and I didn't get a chance to talk about the list tonight, but what your expectations look like in a person that you desire to be in a marriage relationship with. You need to know, because you got to know what it is that you want. And there's nothing wrong with making your request known unto the Lord, and that God won't actually send you what it is that you desire. But at the same time, you have to have patience. Hello, don't rush into something just to have something.
Yes. And
don't be worrying about your biological clock ticking, ladies. Hello, somebody. Those types of things get you in bad choice places. Mm-hmm. And you don't want that. You want to take your time, and you want it to be the person that God has for you, and see what is being presented to you.
Right.
So that you know, hey, okay, well, this person has most of the qualities that I'm looking for in a spouse. And so this, if you all are in agreement, and you have that agreement happening, then you can walk in a marriage relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
So whenever God blesses a union and two have become one, that is your soulmate that God has blessed. And when God's joined together, let no man put asunder. So the mindset of, I got to find that 1 out of 7 billion that's really for me. Take that weight off of you. Take that pressure off of you. It's not that deep at all. Father's a loving Father. And as I share with you, there were some people that I met, that I saw, that I believe with all my heart. And you know what's so interesting? Still do to this day, I believe that God spoke. But if they weren't in agreement, then, as I said, if the Most High will make you receive His Son as your personal Savior for salvation,
right,
why ain't gonna make you marry somebody? That's your prerogative. It's not a hell or heaven situation. That's your prerogative. So, with that being said, everyone, I trust and pray that we have been a source of light to you all this evening. We went a little bit longer than what we wanted to, but I appreciate everyone that's still with us tonight. And we will table questions that didn't get answered for next week. Please click on the notification button if you don't mind. I think it's one up during the live segment, so that you can be alerted when we come on. Is it a group or page? There's a page, I believe, called The Marriage Factor. If you will go on The Marriage Factor and just follow that page, we're going to do more as it pertains to marriage. Also, if there's men that's watching this evening, I'm going to do more as it pertains to men as well, and just begin to share more of my experiences, things that I've gone through as a man, the things that I've experienced as a father, and the things that I've experienced at the hands of the court system after marriage. And men need to hear about that and know that, just keep fighting through, keep pressing. If you're a good father, promise Father is the ultimate judge. He's the ultimate judge. If you're a good man, if you really love God, you really love your children, you're fighting and struggling, and you're doing everything within your power to be the best father you can be, Father will see that, and He will reward that. I promise you will. I'm an example of that. So bring it back to men. If you're a man, go on that particular page and follow that page also. All right, everyone. So if you are looking to be a part of a church body, a church family, this is one of the aspects of our ministry as well. Spirit of Glory Worship Center is the name of our congregation. We have a loving church family congregation. We love the Most High God. We welcome you to join us for a time of worship at Spirit of Glory Worship Center. That's in the Atlanta area, if you're in the Atlanta area, or you may want to visit 2963 South Rainbow Drive, Decatur, Georgia 30034. Service schedules are Sunday at 12 noon. Bible revival or Bible study is Thursdays at 7. We have a Shabbat gathering on Fridays at 6 o'clock p.m. And then other events as announced. God bless you, everyone. I don't know if my wife has some closing remarks that she would like to share with you this evening.
You listen, you all. I'm just hoping and praying that the things that we shared with you tonight really resonated with you, and that it will be some tips in your toolbox, as I say, of life, that you can pull out those tools later on if you need them, and be able to make wise decisions, godly choices in your life, because we have all of this information out there. And that was one of my other points I didn't get a chance to share with you all tonight, and that is, if there's something a place where you're lacking, study up on it. There's a lot of self-help books and things out here that can help you in relationships.
Make sure they're biblically based.
Make sure they're biblically based, yes. And, or, you know, like my husband said, we invite you to come and fellowship and worship with us at Spirit of Glory Worship Center. Please visit the website, www.spiritofgloryworshipcenter.com. And if this ministry has been a blessing to you, sow a seed of love, gift, and support, so that we can continue to expand all of the different ministries that God has placed upon our hearts to help people in every aspect of their walk in life. All right, God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. We'll be back on next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for The Marriage Factor. God bless you all.
I'll be back at 6:30 in the morning for Morning Glory. God bless you. 6:30 in the morning. Set your alarm clock. God bless you, everybody. Good night.